Welcome back to NewsTalk. Backers of the district's current gun laws are taking their case to Capitol Hill. They are going to Congress themselves to confront members of the House and Senate who would undo the city's current gun rules. Joining us now here in the studio, Kenny Barnes Sr. He's with the group Root Incorporated. Welcome back. It is good to see you.
Hey, Bruce, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time. There is an effort in Congress right now to dramatically alter current gun regulations in the nation's capital, and folks like yourself have decided we need to make our case to these members directly.
Yes.
Describe what's happening.
Yes. Well, thank you for, first of all, Bruce, for bringing this to the forefront. We brought you some video that is exclusive, that the first people to hear it will be you. And it's me with family members who are victims of the gun violence here in D.C. We met with Senator Tester's office. And the reason why we met, it was two reasons why we met. One reason was that we're not trying to debate Second Amendment issues. That's a done deal. The Supreme Court decided that. What we are arguing about is two things. One is that Senator Tester from Montana, you don't have a right to come to D.C. to tell us what to do with D.C. laws, no more than we have a right to go to Montana. That's what we're asking, number one. And number two, what we're asking, and the police agree with us, most citizens agree with us, and we had a press conference where every elected official in the city agreed with us. We don't want more assault weapons on our street. Why? We don't want armor-piercing bullets on our street. Why? We don't want in the capital of the United States of America for people to walk around with handguns on their side. Would you want to visit with your family a country like that in the capital? And that's all we're arguing against. So we're not trying to debate Second Amendment issues.
Am I right in thinking that, okay, we had the Heller case that found that the gun ban that existed for a long time went too far, it was unconstitutional. So the city loses. The council reformulates the rules as it relates to Second Amendment rights. And a subsequent challenge finds that those rules are okay. They are consistent with the Second Amendment, and they're consistent with the spirit of Heller. So as I hear it, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, this attempt by Congress to go after the city's new gun regulations is to go after constitutionally legitimate gun regulations.
No, let me try to clear it a little bit. The Heller ruling ruled that guns could be sold in the District of Columbia, and you could use them in the home only. That's all the Heller ruling did, that you could own a gun in your home, right, and you could legally purchase a handgun. That's all the Heller ruling did. Then what the Heller ruling did was it allowed the citizens and the elected officials autonomy about the rest of the regulations. Well, that wasn't good enough for some senators or some congresspeople. What they want to do is they want to come in and say, no, we don't want the District of Columbia and its elected officials with citizens to have any control whatsoever over gun laws. We want to strip all gun laws so that there are no gun laws at all. And if gun laws are made, we want Congress to make them. And it's only a certain amount of elected officials that are trying to do this. The reason why they're trying to do this is obviously because some of them are running in very contested campaigns. And they don't really care about the citizens. They're trying to win an election. That's what we're fighting against.
So who have you been able to meet with in terms of the member himself or herself or staff? Give us a sense as you take your case directly to elected legislative leaders. What sorts of face-to-face have you been able to do?
Now, face-to-face, we've met with Senator Staff face-to-face, Senator Tester Staff face-to-face. We went by Senator McCain's office, and we met with some people, but we didn't finalize our meeting with them. Delegate Congresswoman Norton right now is arranging meetings for us with various members of Congress. Hopefully, we will be meeting with, and I'm saying hopefully now, with Nancy Pelosi and with Harry Reid. Hopefully that's upcoming in the future. Because all we want to do is make our case that we have a right to determine our laws as long as we abide by constitutional rules, and we're not trying to fight the Second Amendment. That's all we're really trying to do.
Earlier in the hour, we talked with Fairfax Supervisor Pat Harity. He's running for Congress, and I asked him about what's taking place right now. He said, number one, he would join the effort. If he was elected, he would join the effort to overturn the city's current gun regulations. Then when I said, well, do you think that the public going into the Capitol building should be screened, he said, yes, I think they should be screened because they shouldn't have guns. They could pose a threat to me, to Congressman Pat Harity, going forward. Do you find that hypocritical?
That's a conundrum. That doesn't make sense. It's okay, and I want you to think for a minute. Bruce, imagine we're in the capital of the United States. People are walking around with handguns in parks. Would you want to bring your family to a capital like that? No. Would Senator Pat, whatever his name is, would he want to bring his family? No. All they're trying to do, and I said this to Senator Tester, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but I'm saying it anyway. I said, Senator Tester, all you're trying to do is you just doing a favor for somebody because you don't have a horse in the race. You're not running for re-election. And all Senator McCain is doing is trying to prove he's crazier than the other guy out there in Arizona. And that's all he's trying to do here. I'm going to prove to you that I'm crazier and I'm more right-wing than anybody I'm running against. That's what it's about. Pay attention to us. Let us know what we want to do. Now, my argument is democratic process. Let's put it on a referendum. If you don't like it, put it on a referendum. Let the citizens vote. And if the citizens say, guess what, we want to carry handguns, I have no argument. But I don't want Senator McCain to determine that. I don't want Senator Tester to determine that. I want us to determine that. Now, what's more democratic than that?
Do you think that families that have been victimized by gun-related violence have a special voice and a special message that they can deliver?
What we're trying to say, and you know my son was murdered, by an assault weapon, what we're trying to say is this. It's when you get concepts arguing against concepts, when you get right-wing arguing against left-wing, it loses in the argument. What we're trying to say is, and Nardine, you saw, she carries a picture of her doing around. Look at what assault weapons have done to us. Listen to us. Listen to what we're saying. You can shoot an assault weapon in Montana and may not hit nothing for 5 miles. Shoot one in the district with nothing but concrete and 600,000 people, you're going to kill somebody. And I got to tell you this, too. I asked Senator Tester, Chief of Staff, real quick. I said...
We're looking at you in the video now, by the way, as you talk.
Okay. I asked Senator Tester, Chief of Staff. I said, his name is John. I said, John, I want to ask you one question. Think of everybody you know, personally, relative or friends. And I want you to think of anybody that you know that would purchase an assault weapon. And I guarantee you, they got one or two. They either want to kill somebody or they're crazy. And he smiled. Because think about it, Bruce. Who in the world, in their right mind, wants to purchase an assault weapon in a city? Unless you're a collector, I'll give a collector maybe that right. But outside of that, who wants one? For what? What do you want to kill, a Bigfoot or a dinosaur? What do you want an assault weapon for? That's what we're arguing against.
Do you think that Democratic leaders in Congress get what you're saying? Because not to be a Democrat is not to be pro-robust gun control. Do they get where you're coming from?
I'm not talking about gun control. See, that's where I'm not coming from. I'm not, because I don't really care what laws you got in Montana. I really don't care. I don't care what laws.
To the extent that you don't think people should have an AK-47 in the home, you are.
Well, I'm saying in the streets to be able to use against somebody. I'm saying a collector is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But why would you, in a city like Washington, D.C., 600,000 residents, all concrete, what are you going to use an assault weapon for? In Montana, you're going to shoot a gun, an assault weapon, for 5 miles, somebody won't hit nothing. You shoot an assault weapon in the District of Columbia, you saw what happened to our families. And you saw how insensitive it was that our families were mowed down, 10 people with assault weapons, and you come out with a law the very next week to allow assault weapons to be sold. No, we're fighting against that. Not fighting against the NRA. We're not fighting against the Second Amendment. But we're fighting for the right of self-determination. And you have Congresswoman Norton working with you. Yes, she is very closely working with us. Kenny Barnes is with Root Incorporated. We thank you for coming in. Kenny Barnes, Sr., thank you very much for your time. Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate your rushing over to be with us. We'll take a break here. We'll come back with more right after this.